Hello and welcome back to Radio Production Broadcast. Today we're starting on the exciting journey of advanced content creation, which is in 6 parts. So this will be part 1 of 6, okay? And for this, we'll be focusing 100% on all the different facets of content. And for this, we are looking at chapter 3 in Next Level Radio. For today's lesson, we're only looking at page 94 and 95, which is informative and entertaining content. So that's where we're starting. If you think about radio, what makes informative and entertaining radio for you specifically? What do you think goes into it for it to be informative and to be entertaining? And then secondly, what goes into a radio show or a podcast? And then you won't know yet what a product life cycle is, but at the end of this lesson, you should know what the product life cycle is and how it's related to a radio show. In fact, all 3 of these questions you should be able to answer by the end of this lecture. I find this quote extremely important, specifically with regards to informative and entertaining content. So art historian Sister Wendy Beckett said, "The experimental test of whether this art is great or good, or minor or abysmal, is the effect it has on your own sense of the world and of yourself. Great art always changes you." And this can be said about great radio also. Radio, no matter what the delivery method, is a unique medium because even though the audience may be in the thousands or millions, the communication between personalities and listeners is one-on-one. As the presenter, I'm talking to you, the listener, okay? It's a one-on-one conversation. I'm not talking to all of you out there. I'm talking with you. So it's quite a personal connection, okay? To understand, though, what makes content entertaining and informative, we must remember that the most important part of any piece of content is that its job is to keep the listener as engaged and listening for as long as possible. From a commercial perspective, the longer you can keep the listeners tuned in or listening or engaged, the more advertising they'll hear and the more effective the advertising will be. This will result in a better return on investment or ROI for the client. Return on investment, those are words that you'll hear a lot still, especially from an advertisement point of view. If there's no advertising, the content is still considered paid for by the user. Because let's say you download a podcast, it takes your time and your data, okay, and you pay for data. A disengaged user is less likely to buy another piece of content with their data and their time. From a public broadcasting perspective, no change can be created and no value ascribed to a piece of disengaging content or audio. The number 1 rule, therefore, in radio is to keep the listener listening for longer. This means listening longer to the current piece that they are listening to, and listening longer by coming back to the radio station or series of content for more. Every radio station wants you to tune in when you get into your car, and every podcast creator wants you to come back to their channel. So what we'll be doing in this chapter, the techniques and the formulas that we'll be outlining in this lesson, but also in the following lessons, that we'll be outlining in the next couple of lessons, were all created to help fulfill this mandate of keeping the listener engaged for longer and for coming back for more. Okay, so that's our focus for the next couple of lessons. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play you 2 clips from 2 completely different, I'm going to play you 2 clips from 2 different radio stations who have the same target audience, okay? And then I'm going to ask you some questions. The first one is Mid-Mornings on 5FM with Mzizi and Stephanie B. And the second one is YFM Crunch with Kutsor.
Punk on 5FM, Digital Love. Can I tell you, I'm such a failure. I really am. I really am. It's like if you're going to get in trouble, at least get in trouble for good things. Like you've done something cool.
Of all the Daft Punk songs, you chose the one that literally no one knows.
So for those who don't know how radio works, we don't pick the music that plays on radio. There's a whole people upstairs who do that, right? We're not allowed to chop and change and whatever. But I was like, oh, Daft Punk, they're separating. Let's play one of their songs. And I was going to play one more time. So I go into the system and I find one more time and I drag it across. But instead of dragging one more time, I drag whatever the nonsense this is. What just happened on the radio?
Of all the songs that could be a dedication to Daft Punk breaking up, you chose that one.
I think somebody from upstairs just messaged me.
I don't even think that that's a radio song. I think that's like a DJ song. It's a B-side. It's not even a single.
Verbatim. I got a message from upstairs.
Do
you want to hear it?
No.
Do you want to hear it?
Oh, no, I'm so scared. What does it say?
Morning.
Oh,
Full
no.
stop.
Oh, no. Period.
Which station are you currently working for?
Oh, no.
Listen. Daft Punk is separating. If you're sad, I'm so sorry for you.
Can you scratch the itch at least and just even give us a snippet of one more time?
I'll do it later. If you're going to get in trouble, go the full Monty. The whole Hulk. So later I'll play one more time.
Okay,
Don't worry.
More time.
One more time. We were talking about bands off air that we really miss that have separated, eh?
And this is going to be controversial, but I'm going to say One Direction.
Okay.
Because
how long were they together before they separated?
Quite a long time. I mean, years. Then Zayn obviously left, which was, I think, the beginning of the end, the devolution of the group, and then they broke up. And they've all done a really good job of releasing solo music and their own music, and they've done really well individually, especially Harry Styles, I feel like. But I could do with another One Direction album where they just come together, do another album. Why not? They got nothing to lose.
Okay. Sure. One Direction, I didn't even think about them. So bands that have separated but you wish would just come back maybe for a reunion tour, maybe just come back together full time. Why not?
Yeah.
Mine is a local one, and I'm going to say Gangs of LA. Gangs of LA.
Genuinely, you took the words out of my mouth. I was like, and locally, Gangs of LA.
There's so many bands in this country, but very few that are really, really good at the level of Gangs of LA. And they were talented not just instrumentally, but also vocally. They were just really good, man. So I wish Gangs of LA would come back.
And really nice humans as well. We get
really
the
nice
privilege of meeting a lot of people in the South African music industry. And sometimes you meet people and you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't never met them because they're quite mean. Whereas Gangs of LA, every single one of them, such nice dudes, really down to earth, super sincere, really cool.
And it's like, I don't know why they're separated because they're all still within music.
Yeah.
They're all
producing
work in music and session musicians. What about people of our generation? Black Eyed Peas.
Are they broken up?
Of course. Black Eyed Peas is no longer together.
What?
Hey.
Guys.
Black Eyed Peas for me too, eh? Yo, all right, 08255055151. Send through a voice note. Give us a call if you want. Let us know which band you'd like to see get back together.
5FM. Taking you back to school. Bringing summer to you.
So that was the first clip. What I want you to think about now is to answer the next 4 questions for me. With regards to that audience piece, is it relevant? Does it matter? Do you care? Do you think the other listeners will care? Okay, and now the second content piece.
Walk the same path. Beautiful sounds coming through from Elaine this morning. It's just gone 38 minutes past 9 o'clock. A very good morning to you and yours. If you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday. And of course, I'm seeing so many tweets coming through. Congratulations to each and every single one of you, class of 2020. That's why we're here at Stadio, right? So maybe you're looking for a campus to go to. Maybe you're still trying to figure out what to study and the plan ahead. Well, that is why we are here this morning for you and only you. But one thing that needs to happen right now, it's time for the hashtag Let's Push competition brought to you by Standard Bank. And this week, Standard Bank is giving away one daily finalist the chance to pitch their hashtag Let's Push goals for 2021 for the chance to win 5,000 Rand towards making it really happen and reality. Now we'll do the right thing. Let's get into Standard Bank, baby. Let's push.
Your time is now, and Standard Bank gets it. This is the hashtag Let's Push competition.
Shout out to Newa back in studio there, doing the right things. I love it. So, to enter, all you had to do was tell us your 2021 goal in a tweet using hashtag Let's Push. But that's not all. All our daily winners will also be entered into the hashtag Let's Push mentorship program, where one finalist could win 25,000 Rand towards their goals. So all thanks to Standard Bank. Now, Newa, I want you to do the magic thing right now. I hope you've dialed up our winner so we can give her or him a call. Is it going to be you? Let's dial him up, Newa. Please answer. Answer. There we go. We got a ring.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine with you.
I'm fantastic. Who am I speaking to? Mutsirisi. My name is Kuto Lady. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm fantastic. Listen here, Mutsirisi. There's something that's happening with Standard Bank and YFM, right?
Okay.
And you are part of the finalists because you really want to put something in your life, right?
Yes.
Mutsirisi, before we continue, please share with us right now, listening, thousands of people listening. We are broadcasting live from Stadio. We are here listening to you. But please let us know your Let's Push goal for 2021.
My goal is to pay for my educated, my certificate, my debt, so that I can be debt free.
Aha. So you want to be debt free, Nan?
Yes. The stress of living with a debt is not nice.
It isn't nice at all. It brings you down.
No.
It slows you down.
Yes.
With that being said, where are you from, Mutsirisi?
I'm from Bloemfontein.
You from Bloemfontein?
Yes.
And you tune into YFM every single day, huh? All the way in Bloemfontein.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, so Mutsirisi, what we're going to do, right? I'm going to call the next person, right? With this amazing opportunity to also win with you. But unfortunately, today you are not the winner, right, Mutsirisi?
Okay.
Thank you very much for entering the competition, my love, all right?
Bye.
Mutsirisi, hold on. Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going?
Anyway.
Don't go anywhere, girl, because you have won yourself 5,000 Rand.
All I do is
Hey, now
Just make my move.
Hey. Congratulations, Mutsiri. So you have won yourself 5,000 Rand and a seat at the hashtag Let's Push mentorship program. That's a step closer to the 25,000 Rand grand prize. How do you feel, Mutsiri, all the way in Bloemfontein?
I feel fantastic.
Yay!
I feel so happy.
You deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. Now tell me, man, what are you going to do with this money? I know that you spoke about debt, but what's the first thing that you're going to do with this 5,000 Rand, all thanks to Standard Bank?
Actually, I owe 5,000, so I'm going to pay all of it.
I love it. Yes. I love it. Congratulations to you and everyone around you. Keep the faith alive. Let's push. Continue having that vision and that goal, and all the best for 2021. All right, Mutsirisi?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that being said, you can also win 5,000 Rand in cash, plus enter into a mentorship program to stand a chance to win the grand prize of 25,000 Rand towards your goals, all thanks to Standard Bank. Just tweet us your 2021 goals right now with the hashtag Let's Push, and we could be calling you to pitch your 2021 goal just like Mutsirisi. All you have to do is also visit yfm.co.za for more. T's and C's apply. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. Standard Bank, Bank, it can be. Hashtag let's push Ifambeni.
Push.
All right, so that's the 2 clips. So again, with the second one, same as the first one. Is it relevant? Does it matter? Do you care? Will the audience care? Okay. Do you see these 2 clips as informative and entertaining content? Yes or no? If yes, why? If no, same question, why? So key things to remember about this class is when it comes to you versus the listener, it's always about them, okay? Keep in mind, radio would not be there if we don't have listeners. Without listeners, we can't sell ads, we can't pay to have the facilities and the presenters, so we literally won't have a radio station, okay? And then great presenters are storytellers. They are observers of life, okay? Great radio people are great storytellers. Think about your favorite radio presenters and how they tell stories when they're talking about whatever it might be. What is it that makes them great? What do they observe in life that they bring in on air? Because remember, whatever it is that how you live your actual life outside of the studio, that's what you bring in as content, and that's what you bring forth and that you bring to your listeners. Okay, so it's important that you learn how to be able to tell stories. Luckily, you can learn how to tell stories, and you can become great observers of life. All right, so that in front of you is what's called product life stages. So what goes into a radio show or a podcast? In business, every single product goes through a life cycle or life changes. This is the condition in which the product or the item's success changes over time. These phases are commonly grouped into 4 different categories, which you see here. The first one is the introduction phase, then it's the growth phase, the maturity phase, and lastly, the decline phase. This product or service life cycle makes a couple of widely accepted assumptions, okay? Firstly, that products have a limited life cycle. Secondly, that the success or sales of that product go through these 4 stages, and these all offer up different challenges and opportunities. And thirdly, in every phase, the business has to work on different strategies to ensure the success of the product. So why am I showing you this in a radio class? Because radio shows are no different. Radio shows also go through these 4 stages, and each require different strategies and techniques to navigate and to get through them. In his online seminar, It's Supposed to Suck at First, Tracy Johnson provides us with a formula for every single stage. The formula includes the percentage of the types of content mixes once you start including for the success of every phase of the show. And this is what we're going to be focusing on in the next couple of classes, okay? So we'll be going into detail about the introduction, the growth, the maturity, and then the decline, what they mean and what it means for radio in terms of content. So when we look at product life stages, when we look at our show clocks will be very dependent on what these product life stages tell us, okay? So show clocks will look very different from the introduction to growth, to maturity, and to the decline phase, which obviously influences our day-to-day radio. With that being said, why is the morning drive show, according to you, different from the rest of the day? What makes a morning drive show stand out? Is there anything that makes it stand out? A morning drive show is traditionally the most listened to day part in radio, and a solid morning show can set the foundation for a solid radio station. On music stations, the morning drive is normally the strongest of the personality radio. And what is unique to each of these shows on radio are their hosts and personalities. That's the one thing that other radio stations can't duplicate. So again, why is the morning drive show different from the rest of the day? Firstly, because of its attitude. People don't like getting up in the mornings. That's just a fact, okay? People feel that from the moment the alarm rings to the moment that they get to their jobs, they are on their boss's time and not their own time. Many people don't love their jobs, and there is a resentment in the morning rush. Because of this, humor on the radio in the mornings is especially important. Again, think of your favorite morning presenter or favorite morning show, and think of what it is that separates them from the rest of them. What is it that makes you listen to them? In my case, my favorite one is definitely because of the humor and that they bring to the show. Even though the show is extremely informative, there's still a lot of humor and laughter in the show. And if you can make a bunch of grouchy, groggy people smile or laugh in the mornings, you can keep them listening. What else separates morning drive? Reality. If radio gets boring, there's more to choose from. There's TV and internet, okay? People want and need to know what time it is. And it's easier if the radio tells you every couple of minutes so that you are... What are other things that you need? What do you need to know when you wake up in the morning? What is it that you listen out for? When people wake up to face the day, they need to know some basic information. Did anything happen while I was asleep? Were there explosions? What will everyone be talking about today when I get to work? What is the big water cooler moment today? What will I hear on the radio that will put me a bit ahead of my colleagues? The other thing I want to hear a lot is I want to hear, like I said, the time, but the weather a lot, okay? I want to hear the traffic a lot. So I want to know what time it is. I want to know what I'm supposed to be wearing when I leave. Is it going to rain? Is it going to be cold? Do I need boots? Can I wear stilettos? How must I dress my kids? How does the traffic look? Can I take my normal route? Must I take a detour? That's all very important things, okay? People are creatures of habit. They don't like change at any time, least of all in the mornings when they've just gotten up and they're tired and cranky, okay? So people want you to stick to your normal routines so that they can stick to their normal routines. Otherwise, it feels like you've gotten up with the wrong foot out of the bed, and the whole day is just going to be a bad day. What is the pace like in the mornings when we listen to morning radio? What kind of a pace do we like? Do we like to listen to slow, long interviews and slow ballad songs? Or do we like to hear things that are a little bit more upbeat? Powerful morning radio. During powerful morning radio, you will up the pace, not the volume for the morning drive. So it's a bit faster. You'll move it along. People listening this time of the morning are in a hurry and they don't have time to get deeply involved in long, in-depth interviews or ongoing sagas. You keep those for the rest of the day. In the mornings, it's really important to understand your listeners. Less is more, but what you do, you need to make count. Mornings are when show prep and planning your time on air matters the most, okay? Your awareness of the brevity of your listeners' attention span in this day part is key. Jonathan Bradmeyer said, every hour should be a different show. If you continue something you did from 6 to 7, all the way through until 9 or 10, the guy who woke up at 9 o'clock is just tuning in now for the first time, won't have any idea what you're talking about and might tune out, okay? Because they'll be left out. So whatever you're doing, if you do something from 6 to 7, you need to do something new from 7 to 8, something new from 8 to 9, and something new from 9 to 10. So that's how your show clocks are supposed to be planned out. During your one morning drive show, depending on whether your morning drive is 3 or 4 hours, you'll have 3 to 4 different clocks. We can take this one step further even. According to consultant eClock, he mentions that we need to look at each hour as a package that has 4 15-minute shows in it. So each segment should contain all of the key elements that you would have in any whole hour of one morning show. For example, entertainment, music, news, weather, and other services. So now it's becoming quite condensed, because now what we've done is we already have 3 to 4 1-hour show clocks. Now we're breaking it up, that 1-hour show clock, into 4 15-minute segments. And each 15-minute segment now needs to have a couple of elements in there. So this is why it's so important for morning radio, for you to prepare, to read through everything, to make your time matter, to be real, and to have fun, okay? So what it boils down to is to give the service elements a lot. So the time, the weather, the traffic updates, and quick news headlines. Give people what they can use both now and during the day. Morning Drive Radio is the place where music radio and talk radio most intersect. This is why it's also so important to have a look at who it is that you place on your morning drive as presenters. All right, so this is an average show clock, just to give you an idea of what a show clock looks like, okay? This is not the example of a breakfast show clock. It's just an average show clock. So here you can see there's the news, there are ads, there's traffic, weather, your local news update, more ads, and so it carries on for that hour, okay? What makes up a show clock? During the 60 minutes of one show clock, you will have ads, whether it's ads, promotions, billboards, live reads. The idea is you'll have spot breaks, you'll have links, whether it's a feature, call-outs, callers, case interviews, a generic feature, administration, weather, traffic, news, sport. You'll have some sort of features, okay? You'll have music sweeps, if there are any, and you'll have station imaging. And on top of this, you'll obviously have songs, you'll have music. It's important for you as the presenter to have an understanding of where the show is going and how it will translate effectively on air, especially once you've broken down your hour into clocks. So what did we say with regards to breakfast show? So we're saying break breakfast show into 4 segments, okay? So it's not quite going to look like this. This is broken up into 3 segments. Now breakfast show, we're breaking up even more. Something that's important to consider when you start with creating these clocks are, you need to look at the time of the day. So in this case, we're looking at morning drive. So we're looking at breakfast. Who are the listeners during the breakfast show, okay? What type of listeners do you have there? What are they doing? What is the culture or the brief of the specific show? Where are we in the life cycle of the show, okay? So in which of the phases are we? Which of these 4 phases are we? We go back. Are we in the introduction phase? Are we in the growth, the maturity, or the decline phase? Because all 4 of these will make a difference to what our show clock will look like, okay? The kind of elements that we include in our show clock, whether it's station or promotion, features and benchmarks, lifestyles or relationship, or personal observations, and what the percentage would be of everything, okay? And then lastly, what are we trying to achieve with our show clock? So if we were to now go back and take one of these clocks, okay, and we were to break them into 4 parts. And what did we say needs to be in every one? Each 15-minute show segment needs to contain all the key elements you would have in a whole hour of a morning show. So you need to have in those 15 minutes, entertainment, music, news, weather, and any other important services. Okay, so keep that in mind. Why am I saying you need to keep that in mind? Because what you're going to do for homework is to prepare topics for 1 hour of a morning show. Bear in mind the time of the day, the needs of the audience, such as the time and weather information, including humor to get the day started. Provide a format clock with scheduled breaks for personality bits every 10 minutes. Okay, so you're scheduling breaks every 10 minutes of that hour. In addition to the 6 prepared bits, in essence, 1 every 10 minutes, you must over prep 4 items for the hour. These items you need to prep. These items must be typed and printed on a Word document and used for the next class. The idea with this is to teach you how important the immediacy of breakfast show is, okay? How important it is to make sure that you are over-prepared for your show. And then from here, we will move into the first life cycle in the next show, okay? So to help you, to assist you with being able to provide this format clock, so to build an hour clock, I want you to listen to 2 one-hour morning radio shows, identifying all the elements of the show, including what you thought of the show, and mail it to me, okay? You have a week to prepare this clock, okay? So this clock needs to be done by next week, Wednesday, because next week, Wednesday, we'll chat about it in our live class, okay? And then what I need you to do, apart from listening to radio, is I need you to answer activity 3C, question 1 on page 109. And what that says is explain in your own words why it is important for any podcast or radio show to strive for informative and entertaining content. Why is it important to strive for informative and entertaining content? Okay. Think about your life cycle. Think about the 4 stages of the life cycle. When you start introducing something, your radio show, and then there's growth and maturity, and then there's a decline. How do these things work? How is it that you get to that point? The other questions that you should be able to answer now is, what makes informative and entertaining radio? What goes into a radio show or podcast? What is the product life cycle? And how does it relate to a radio show? And that brings us then to the end of this lesson, okay? A lot of different types of elements included here, which is how it's going to be for the next 5 lessons after this, okay? So make sure you go and read all the work, make sure you understand, make sure that you know how to answer everything. These activities are important, okay? And with that, I say goodbye until the next lesson. Bye.